Welcome to episode 4 of our local to global series here on TEW2020. We are, of course, playing as the Random Wrestling Revue, but not as the podcast, as the wrestling promotion. That's spelled REVUE for those wondering. And we are now in March of 1996, gearing up for our 6th show. We, of course, did take a break in January because we wanted to hopefully save on money, but it didn't really work. We did make a small amount of profit, but it wasn't enough to make me comfortable that we could run another show anytime soon. So we decided we have to push on, we have to get bigger as a company and hopefully start to earn a little bit more sponsorship revenue that then allows us to take a break and earn enough money to get us out of the red. That's what we need to do. Um, we're going to be running our 6th show, as I said today, and it's going to play host to the big rematch, the rematch that everybody has been looking forward to, Buddy Wayne versus Michael Modest. And I do need to create the show first of all. In fact, I made that that was silly. I made this an annual thing, but it should be a special. That was the one we just did. And actually, I'm going to make it dormant because it shouldn't be active. Let's create. No, I don't want to modify the event. Add new event, RWR. And I think what we're going to call this very simple: Wayne versus Modest 2. That's the name of this one. Another special. This time, as always, on Saturday, week 2 of the month. And yeah, I only intend to book one match for this show. We have had one show where we've had more than one match so far. Let's just have a look at our top 100 so far in terms of matches, at least. I think will be interesting. So we've got Kimo and Wellington Wilkins Jr. is actually our best match so far, 22. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe that's because it was a reasonable length as compared to everything else. That was at First Christmas. So yeah, I think that'll do. We're going to advance to the next player controlled show, and I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is sort of not an end point, not a conclusion to anything, but like a key match in the company's history, the short history that it's had so far. This was obviously the first match we ever put on. It was for the vacant RWR North West title at that time. Now it is for that title again, but obviously Buddy Wayne holds the title going in. They've had the feud ever since that point, and finally we've got back to this rematch. And this was always my plan, was to do the traditional kind of 3 match or possibly even more program between these two, but just space the matches out. I'm really quite a big fan of having feuds that go a long way and kind of overlap with other feuds. So and other matches, and that's kind of where we are with this one. There's gonna be, as I said, no other matches on the show, and I'm very much looking forward to it. If you see me playing around with the mouse doing this a lot, it's because I've got a big problem with my laptop. For some reason, it thinks that I've got an unregistered version of Windows or something on my laptop. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but I've tried to fix it and it hasn't worked. And what happens is there's a little message that comes up in the corner of one of the main screen, my laptop screen. Now I'm using this on the monitor, so I've got 2 screens in front of me. But for whatever reason, the message that comes up on my first screen, my laptop screen, keeps superimposing itself over the top of of the game on the second screen, and it is absolutely infuriating. So I apologize if I'm constantly fidgeting around with the mouse. Apologies for that. It would annoy me if I was watching, but it's the only way I can get rid of it. Because for some reason, when it superimposes, you have to kind of almost like paint over it with your mouse. It's really annoying. Anyway, enough about that nonsense. Let's go straight into this. So we're going to add a match. It is, of course, Buddy Wayne, the champion, against Michael Modest. This will be interesting because Buddy Wayne obviously still carrying that injury. He has not coped particularly well with it up to this point, and he's going to be asked to do a 30-minute singles match. Now, we are going to have Buddy Wayne win this one. Storytelling and slow build. But in addition to that, we're going to have a botched interference finish. So effectively, Michael Modest is going to call for Kimo to come out and help him. But Kimo and Kimo's going to try, but he's going to accidentally cost Modest a match, and that's going to be the end of this one. It is, of course, for the Northwest title. We're going to have afterwards Michael Modest. We're going to have him Michael Modest uh, basically is angry with Kimo and tells him so in no uncertain terms. That's basically going to be what happens after the main event. Then in the other angle of the day, what we're going to do here, I think we'll have Michael Modest. This is before the match, of course. Michael Modest is going to tell Buddy Wayne that tonight is the night where he claims the North West title. Cool. That's all good. So that's that book, that segment booked. I'll just put that to the start of the show so that we've got that all in the right place. Again, Buddy Wayne is wrestling with an injury, but we knew that. And of course, Buddy Wayne and Michael Morris has no announcers. Neither Blitzkrieg or Wellington Wilkins Jr. is going to appear here, so we're going to have less costs in terms of talent on the show. And I think that's all we need to do as we go into this match, this show, in fact. And we get I think that's our record crowd of 51 people in Northwest. That is very, very pleasing indeed. We're going up. We're going up in the world, people. It's great, great stuff. And he says tonight is the night where he's going to claim the Northwest title. Segment rating of 21. Michael Morris didn't do well with that script to follow. Bruce Hart continues to be a poor agent, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter at this moment in time. Angle got the crowd hotter. Then we had the match of 16. Michael Morris at 25, Buddy Wayne at 22. But the injury to Buddy Wayne took a toll. And the bout dragged in the middle. And Bruce Hart was a bad road agent. And the match was far too long for the audience. But here you see 29 minutes 48 by submission after botch interference by Kimo. Buddy Wayne makes defense number 3 of the RWR North West title. Then after the match, Modest is angry with Kimo and tells him so, featuring Michael Modest and Kimo. And that was a segment rated 27, so really quite decent segment, this one, to end the show. And an overall rating of 19, increased our popularity. Make the speech, as always, I think just obviously um, keep this to the 3 that actually appeared and make speech. And they are very happy because I keep telling them the same thing, keep telling them that they're really good. So, of course, they're going to be happy with that. Now, let's just have a look at what that did to our finances. So, we're down to minus 952. We did not spend as much money this time around, significantly less on everything. So, let's see whether the improved sponsorship from that will make the difference by going to the end of the current month. Mm. So I've got. I think that was a reasonably successful show. Obviously, we've got the biggest attendance we've had so far. It's going to take a long old time to get this to where we want to get it to global. I mean, if you consider we're 4 episodes in game time, we're going to be 7 months in by the end of this when we get to the 1st of April, and we've we've got a popularity of 1 in one region. It is going to take so long for us to get to become large, but hopefully we have a lot of fun on the road to doing that. That's really what I'm looking for here. Just enjoying the ride, enjoying the journey as we try and get ourselves to global. We've got an initial challenge, which is obviously this financial situation, which we've been talking about at length, and I don't want to go into too much detail again now. So that's the first challenge we've got to overcome. Once we've done that, we can then start to really look at what we're going to do with our roster, start to add to it as and when we feel like we can afford it. We're going to have to be pretty efficient in terms of our storytelling and in terms of the matches we put on. And I think what I've been doing is as I've been going along, I've been kind of mulling over in my mind what matches to use at what point. And I think I've got a kind of the next 2 or 3 shows mapped out in my mind in a rough way. Nothing, nothing too concrete, but just how uh, how I'm going to progress from over the next couple of shows and keep the story running without kind of just burning out. Um, Obviously, this isn't very realistic. You're unlikely to see a wrestling show anywhere in the world with 1 match. And what's this? New world champion in WWF, Razor Ramon, won in the main event of WrestleMania 12, defeated Bret Hart in a 99 rated match. I mean, I would pay for that. That would have been a great main event of WrestleMania. and we wouldn't have had to put up with the Iron Man match, which would have been lovely. So there you go, Razor Ramon, new world champion, very exciting stuff. What's going on in WCW? They had Uncensored the same night, and the Giant defeated Sting in the main event to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Title. And a 90 there, Randy Savage defeated Ric Flair in a 99, and Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Vader to retain the WCW United States title. Excellent stuff. Cool. I do love the random booking that gets sort of takes place. It's very, very different from what happened in reality when the AI does it, right. So let's take a look at the finances. So we are now minus 877. We lost even less money this month. So $309 we lost in total, as compared to 493 the month before. And I think that all that's all good. That's all fine. The tricky thing now is um, we've got to do another match. And excuse me if you can pick up some strange noises. That's because my dog has decided to be a little bit of an idiot. So apologies for that. Can't really do anything about it. But there we go. Um, so let's book in our next show. I don't know what I'm going to call this one. What month have we got? April. So it's not really a great time of year for a show named after the month that it's in. Um, so I mean, unless we did a spring themed thing, but I'm not that keen on that. So maybe something just generic. What it's our seventh show. There we go. Perfect. Seventh heaven. Perfect. 1 hour Saturday, week 2 of April, and special. So there we go. Seventh heaven is ready for the second week of April. And let's move on to the next player controlled show, which is only in a couple of weeks. Um, yeah, I haven't revealed yet what we're going to do on this next show. This one's going to be a bit more of a no. Let's just I'll wait till we reveal what we're going to do. But so I've got plans in my head for the next 2-3 months, and then we move on with it. Now I've realised that in our first 3 episodes, in my first episode we covered 1 month. Second episode we covered 2 months, and in my third episode we covered 3 months. This one is not going to cover four months. I can promise you that. Although we're only 12 minutes or so into this video, so possible, I suppose, that we go even further this time around. And it's possible also. I've been thinking about potentially taking another month off. Um, so maybe in May, not doing a show, just because I feel like we've got to keep testing how much profit we can make when we don't run a show. Um, because I think it'll be quite a bit more than it was the last time. And the problem is that every time we run a show, we are adding to our debt. So, for example, right now, um, this month we're actually up by $60, which you'd think by the end of the month would translate into something like 100. But then we're 817 in debt, so or in the red. So we need to we need to do something about this. I'm not really sure exactly what that is at the moment. Anyway, here we go. On to this show. So I've got an idea of what I want to do here. I'm not thrilled about it. If you see what I mean, I'm not absolutely thrilled about it. So we're going to start out with an angle, which is going to be Michael Modest and Kimo. I'm going to keep using Menace as Kimo's what he's rated on. Modest tells Kimo to defeat Buddy Wayne tonight and put an end to his reign once and for all. So I think I may have done. I had an idea plotted out, and I think I may have done the wrong thing at the last show. How typical is that? I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I think what I was going to do So this is where classically this is the problem with me playing the game in front of you and recording at the same time because I forget what the plan was and I don't have the time to remember to change, you know, to remember what the alternative was. Um, it was going to be that Modest was going to lose that match, and then I can't remember what was going to come next. Okay, so Michael Modest is going to tell Kimo to defeat Buddy Wayne tonight and put an end to his reign once and for all. So we are going to go with this one. It's not quite what I was actually going to go for, but it's in the books now. So Buddy Wayne will face Kimo for the second time. Yes, we know Buddy Wayne's injured. This is going to be a very poor match because Kimo cannot go 30 minutes. Um, we're going to have Buddy Wayne win the match. It's going to be an open. And he's going to win with a flash pinfall this time. Yeah. So what I was going to do definitely was we're going to have that match we just had, but it wasn't going to end the way I ended it. I was going to do some other kind of finish, and I can't remember what that was now. Nevertheless, we're going to push ahead with this. Buddy Wayne will face Kimo in a match for the RWR North West Title, and then Buddy Wayne's going to win. Then afterwards, Kimo and Michael Modest are going to beat up Um, Buddy. Oh, I know what I was going to do. No, I've figured it all out now. So this is the problem. I remember now what I was going to do. So we're not going to have that. It's not going to be a clean flash pinfall finish. It's going to be interference laden. So we're going to have first of all the interference. If I can find the right thing. First of all, we're going to have the interference from Michael Modest. Then we're going to have the interference from Kimo. And what I was actually going to do is the other way round. So I was going to have the last match go this way. Blitzkrieg's going to come out, and basically Blitzkrieg's going to stop Kimo from. Sorry, he's going to stop Michael Modest from interfering. What I was going to do is going to have Blitzkrieg stop Kimo from interfering in the last match, and then Buddy Wayne defeat Michael Modest cleanly, and then do the finish I had in the last match on this one. But in between, I was going to have a tag team match again, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember now. But basically, I'm going to have to go back and just check what we've done in the past because that's the other problem. I'm struggling to remember what else we did. So we did that match, and okay, so they're their match, and of course, Kimo and Michael Modest won that one. So we can't really go back to that match anyway. So I'm not overly worried. Um, so yeah, and we're just going to at the end of this have a big old brawl, and it's going to be um, yeah, all four of them in the ring having a good old brawl to end the show. Um, we're going to just up that to 8 minutes, so we've got enough time on the show. Booking analysis. Buddy Wayne is injured. And there's no announcers. That's fine. So that's what we're going to do. Buddy Wayne versus Kimo. Another match between these two for the title, and off we go. 52 people. Michael Morris tells Kimo go and win that match. 26 rated segment. 17 rated match between these two. Kimo 26, Buddy Wayne 23. The injury is a big problem for Buddy Wayne at the moment, but it doesn't matter. We're lucky enough that we're so non-popular that even these really poor main events are not actually causing a lot of problems. Segment rating is 17, and then the end between these four all fighting to finish the show. Increase our popularity in one region, an overall rating of 20. Make speech. I mean, we only had two people wrestle. I'm going to keep kind of pointing Buddy Wayne out as a good example, and I think we'll give Blitzkrieg a compliment on the performance, despite the fact that poor old Michael Morris was involved in all three segments. So that's the next show. I'm annoyed with myself there. I got that the wrong way around. I didn't think that through well, or I did, but then forgot all about the thinking through that I'd done to make a lesser show or a lesser story or a lesser not story, just a lesser I didn't like the flow of of the various matches, going from one to the next. So that's Seventh Heaven. Buddy Wayne defeats Kimo. Now it looks like we've probably got enough time for another show, so let's just keep pushing ahead to the end of the current month. Now, obviously, here I've got to hope for some improvements financially because we're now over a grand in the red. Maybe I will take. Maybe I'll give May a month off. But yeah, I think so. What I said, I think what I was going to do was have the match between Buddy Wayne and Michael Morris, have Kimo try to interfere, but Blitzkrieg get involved. We've done it the other way round. Actually, I can still go through this. I can still do what I need to do here. So that's not a problem, really. Um, Actually, I've got an idea for what we're going to do at the next show. Actually, so okay. I've settled down a little bit. I was a little bit annoyed with myself there. I felt like I didn't think it through. I rushed ahead trying to keep the pace up, but I don't really need to. And apologies, the dog is absolutely being a nutter. He will not stop being an idiot. It's quite a regular thing, to be perfectly honest with you. Um, yeah, so we're just going to try and um, I think we've recovered the situation, or at least in my head we've recovered the situation. I've now just got to execute those plans that I've now got in my head. But let's turn our attention to the finances because I think that's probably the most important thing. And I am quite nervous about this. So yeah, we lost 299 again, less money lost. We also made 364 in sponsorship, which isn't a huge amount more than we made in March. But that would be about £100, $100, sorry, that we'd make in profit between the difference between sponsorship and production. So maybe we should try and do that, but we're 1100. We need to be making more in sponsorship than that. So I'm going to have to keep going and hope we don't start getting those warnings at this time around going into bankruptcy. So we're going to add new event, RWR um, Mayhem. There we go. So that was what I was going to call my May show in WCW, actually. So I think that's a nice little nod back to that Mayhem. We are going to make it special. I don't want to call the May show Mayhem every time. We just don't have enough stories at the moment for me to make interesting show names, and we don't have enough roster, so I can't kind of name it after the matches that take place at each of these. Um, So let's forward to the next player control show. I've got to start thinking as well about whether I need another member of the roster because we've got the five that we've currently got. And by the way, I've set my preferences so that left off show complaints is off because I don't like that as a concept in the game. I think it just doesn't make sense. It's not a case of making it easier for me. It just doesn't make sense. Like I can understand if I guess I can understand more if you're under contract and you get left off loads of shows. But these guys aren't really under contract; they're just on a handshake deal with me as indie wrestlers. That's someone I might like to occasionally use when they're free. So in real life, it would make it would be perfectly legitimate if I didn't use everybody that I had as part of my active roster. It just wouldn't happen all the time. So I don't. Yeah, that's why I always turn that one off. I had to turn it off as well for the WCW stuff because again, I just don't think it's a very good thing. I think sometimes, I think occasionally, if a major star is left off a big show, I think it makes sense. But pretty much everybody complains about being left off of shows, even people who've got absolutely no like star power at all. And here we go. RWR financial warning. RWR have been given a warning that they face bankruptcy if their financial position does not improve very soon. And I think we get two of these, and then if we're still in the red, we go out of business. So I think I'm going to cheat as the answer to this. Ultimately, I think I'm going to cheat. I might give myself an extra. Well, where were we? We would. $1,099 in the red. So I think if I might do is give myself an additional 3 grand to basically go up to $2,000 again. So we're still losing money, but we're losing less money, and that amount that we're losing is going down. So I think I may do that next month. I'm not going to do it this month. I'm going to do it next month. And yeah, I think that's all that we can do. So here we go. RWR Mayhem. So at Mayhem, I think we're going to have 2 matches this time around. And the first is going to be not Michael Modest, Kimo and Blitzkrieg, because they haven't had a match against one another yet. And I'm going to come back to all the road agent notes because the other match I'm going to have is Michael Modest against Wellington Wilkins Jr. I'm pretty sure they haven't fought each other yet. So this is going to give Michael. This is just to give Michael Modest a credibility enhancing victory because he's not had one, and I feel like he's well, he's had no, he has had one win, but I think yeah, let's do that. Now this one, what we're going to do with this? No, that's not the one. Bring that down because this is the main event. Kimo Blitzkrieg. What we're going to do here is that Blitzkrieg is going to win, and it's going to be an open match. In fact, I think I'm going to have Kimo dominate. Kimo's going to dominate, but it's going to be pinfall. In fact, it's going to be flash pinfall. No, pinfall finish, and but it's going to be an outside interference, straight in outside interference as well. Finish with Michael Morris deliberately costing Kimo the match. Um, yeah, I want to do it. Do I want to make it deliberate or not? This is the question now. I don't know if I want to make this deliberate or not because so they had the bit where Chemo's cost him accidentally the match against Buddy Wayne, but then the next month Michael Modest has put Chemo up against Buddy Wayne. Chemo didn't get the job done thanks to Blitzkrieg. So really Modest anger is with Blitzkrieg, not Chemo at this stage, or at least the immediate anger. So I think what I'm going to do is not going to be deliberate. Get rid of that. It's going to be more botched interference. That's what we're going to do. And we've got to make this storytelling and slow build. We're going to have an angle after the main event where Chemo and Michael Modest are going to argue about who was to blame for their losses recently. And we will also have an angle, I think, at the start, which is going to be Michael Modest with Chemo next to him and Blitzkrieg off screen, Modest telling Blitzkrieg he'll pay for getting in, can't even spell getting, in his involved, come on, involved in his business. It's really hard to type when you know someone might be watching you do it. So that's what's going to happen at the start. Booking analysis is fine. We're not using Buddy Wayne. What I want to do though is add to the storyline here Blitzkrieg because um, yeah, otherwise that's not going to work. So here we go. Let's go straight into it. 51 people. We have Michael Modest tell Blitzkrieg he's going to pay. Second rated 20. Then the first match, Modest beats Willington Wilkins Jr. in 15:22 by pinfall by using underhanded tactics. Then the main event, Kimo and Blitzkrieg, and Blitzkrieg gets the big victory following a botched interference from Michael Modest. And then Kimo and Modest are going to argue, and that's the end of the show. Increased our popularity in one region. I think that's the best rating we've had at 23. Kimo again coming up really strong. And what this means, I can complement these three and be done. And that is all we've got time for today. They're all pleased with the speech. Thank you for joining me. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Carry on watching this series if you're enjoying it. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and obviously comment on how we're doing and what we need to do to prevent ourselves going out of business, other than to cheat and go into the in-game editor. But anyway, until the next time, thank you very much.